Hello my gorgeous little apple pies out there, and welcome. In today's video, I picked 10 random palettes to talk about, and I'm gonna let you know whether these are things that I would actually repurchase if I didn't have them now. This is a very popular video that a lot of people have done, and I'm excited to do one myself today. But before we get into this video, if you're new here, hello, welcome. My name is Bree, and I'm just a crazy lover of all things beauty. I like to post a lot of fun, colorful makeup content. I like to do a lot of indie makeup, so if that's what you're into, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. But with that being said, let's get into this video. Alright my cuties, my little fall babes, are you guys ready? Because I'm so ready for pumpkin pie, apple pie, cozy sweaters, hot cider. Like, I can't wait. I cannot wait. But it is like 90 degrees here. It is nowhere near fall weather, but you know what? We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there one day. But I've been wanting to do this kind of video for a while. I've watched so many YouTubers do this, and I always find it so interesting to hear their thoughts, because you can get a real in-depth, honest review about a palette if this is like something they would repurchase or not if they didn't have it after they've done their review and everything on their channel. So I was like, I'm gonna do this myself, and I tried to make this as random as possible. I went to my shelf back here, I covered my eyes, and then I just grabbed palettes, and I did the same thing in my little drawer, like where my mini palettes are, because I wanted to just pull anything, not have time to think about it, and just think about it on the fly when I'm sitting here in front of the camera. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I think it's going to be fun. But before we get into the palettes and everything, if you're wondering about this eye look, which I think is fierce, super sexy, a little fall, a little sultry, I did film this, and I think that video will be up before this one, so I'll link it below. I'll put it up in the corner. But I'm very proud at how this turned out. I feel very glam. So in case you're wondering, I did film this. But now let's get into the palettes. I'm just gonna pick at random. This is not in any kind of order. But the first palette I have here is from Game Beauty. This is the Harbinger palette. Love the packaging. I love how sleek and compact it is. This is what it looks like inside. It flaps open. There's a mirror down here. And then it's a very cool tone-esque color story besides this like one orange, but overall it's pretty cool tone, and I do really like the color story and just how small this is. It's so travel friendly. But I don't think I would repurchase this, I'm gonna be honest. I think I used this on my YouTube. I know I did a like video on my Instagram, but I can't remember if I filmed anything about this on here on YouTube. But overall, Game Beauty's formula isn't necessarily my preference. A lot of their mattes are definitely more sheer. You have to try to build them up a lot to get it fully opaque. Their shimmers in here lean very satin. Like these four right here are all very satiny, and I prefer like super reflective, sparkly metallics on my eyes. It's like what I like. I think the only one that's pretty reflective and sparkly is this one. Like I really love this shade right here, and I love the color story. But I do feel like I have this in a lot of other palettes, like these kind of colors, and they're in formulas that I love even more than this one. So I don't think I would repurchase this. So I know I wouldn't pick this back up if I didn't have it anymore. Like I thought it was fun to use. I'm really rooting for Game Beauty. I think they're a cool brand, and I'm excited to see what they continue to come out with. But it's just not my perfect formula at this point. But it was a cute little color story. Then going on to this one from Lethal Cosmetics. This is the After Dark palette, and I think this might have been like the first palette I bought from Lethal Cosmetics, but it's like kind of retro vibes, very fun, summery, and super colorful. And you know what? I think I would totally repurchase this if I didn't have it. I love Lethal Cosmetics. I think they're such a cool brand. These mattes are more on the buildable side, but you can definitely get more pigment than like the Game Beauty one. And then their shimmers are definitely more sparkly, and I'm vibing with this one. And I actually think this matte white was actually pretty pigmented. Like, look at that. I love a good pigmented matte white. And I remember really loving this in that review that I did. I did review this and do a couple looks, so I'll link that below. I'll link all the videos I did on any of these palettes. And it makes me happy when I look at it now. Like, I'm like, what? Why haven't I used this in a while? I need to pull this out, do some fun, colorful looks. This is also very springy. Oh, wow. I miss you. I miss using you. But yeah, I think I totally would get this again if I didn't have it anymore. Now going on to this one from Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Berlin Palette, which I don't think this is available anymore. I think they discontinued this one. But when I first got this, I was smitten, okay? I got this in a BoxyCharm box, okay? And it's been a long time since I had BoxyCharm. And when I did get this, my collection was a lot smaller. Like, I didn't have a lot more selection. And I was just really getting into these more muted kind of darker shades, a little bit more fall-esque, and I think it's pretty, like the color story, but this is not my favorite formula. This is one of Nomad's older palettes. I feel like they've definitely perfected their formula since this one, but this is a metallic heavy palette, and all of them lean very satiny. Like, they're not super foiled and sparkly, and then there are a few mattes in here that you definitely have to build up to get them to be fully opaque. And this black one is more like a charcoal and not like a true matte black. So I don't feel like this is my favorite formula at this point. And they do have some like kind of bronzy tones here that look very similar. Like, once you put them on the eyes, it kind of start to all look the same. They're just like slightly like different tones. So it's not my perfect formula at this point, and I do love the other Nomad palettes that I have now even more. And I know I have this in my collection of other palettes that have formulas that are more my preference. So I don't think I would go back out and get this if I didn't have it anymore. Now, I might even end up decluttering this at this point. I don't know if I'll even reach for this at all at this point, but when I first got it, I loved it, and it got me to get into more grungy kind of shades like this. Sorry if you can hear the revving in the background. There's this neighbor that likes to rev his engine through the neighborhood all the time. It's the most annoying thing ever. Anyways, let's get back to the palettes before I go on a tangent on how much that makes me mad. So going on to the next palette, which is so adorable. This is the Gnome Chrome palette from Sugardrizzle. It's a Halloween palette. Look at those little guys up here. They're so cute. I need to bust this out next month. I was thinking of doing like a palette bingo with all my Halloween palettes, and I definitely have to put that in the palette bingo. But this is a all metallic palette. It has like dual chromes, multi-chromes, different metallic formulas in here. There's a mirror, and I adore this. I think it's so pretty, and I would totally repurchase this if I didn't have it. Now, I don't know if you can still purchase this. I'm not sure if it's available anymore, but maybe they'll come back out with this or do like another Halloween themed palette, but it's really pretty. I'm so happy I was able to get my hands on this. Just some of the shades are just so pretty, and look at that dual chrome. Oh, that's gorgeous. So yes, I would be so sad without this. I love the shades in here, the tones, the shifts. I could just stare at these three fingers all day. Of course, I like put all the green ones on my hands. Like, they're, oh my god, my swatches are gonna be so terrible. I shouldn't even be doing swatches, but yeah, there's my crappy swatches for you. But I would totally get this. I'd be sad without that palette. Then going on to this one from Natasha Denona. This is the Sunrise palette, and to be honest, this is not my perfect color story. I like cool tones. I like blues, purples, greens. That is my jam, and I'm not really into the more sunsetty eyes. Like, these are more like Ready Berry shades with some mustard shades in here, and I do think this is pretty. I think the formula is really nice in here, but I don't use it enough, and this is a pricey palette. It was like, what, $65, and I don't think I've touched it that much. I've used it a few times, but I don't ever think to pull for this one because it's like not a color story I tend to gravitate towards, and I don't think I get enough use out of this. It's actually quite unfortunate because it is a really pretty palette, and I love these mustard tones, but honestly, I don't know when's the last time I actually used this palette, to be honest. So I don't know. I don't think I would repurchase this knowing that now. Like, when I got this, I don't think I really knew what my preference was in like eyeshadow colors yet when I got this. And I was really getting into like more luxury makeup and really getting into Natasha Denona. But I think I would have passed on this. Like, the person who I am now, I would have passed on this if it was like just coming out and being sneak peek. But it is pretty. Now going on to this one from Unearthly Cosmetics. This is the Fairy Frolic palette, which I'm pretty sure this is still available. But this is like their old packaging, like it says Alien Cosmetics. That used to be their name. But I do love the artwork. And look at this colors in here. It's so fall. Wow, I forgot about this color story. I need to use this now that we're going into the fall season. It's really beautiful. It has like these greens. It has some like more mauvey tones. And then it has like these mustardy shades and this beautiful like mustardy metallic. It's really pretty. I love Unearthly Cosmetics. And to be real, if I lost any of my Unearthly palettes, I would repurchase all of them. I love that brand. I swear by them. Like, look at that. That is so pretty. And I can't help but swatch things. It's like my favorite thing to do when I have nothing else to do. I just can sit in my room all day and swatch palettes out and stare at them. But it's a really beautiful, more fall-y palette. But I would totally buy this again. Like, I would never go without my Unearthly palettes. Now going on to this new nude palette from Huda Beauty. This is a really mauvey, more romantic palette. It is more on the nudie side, but definitely leaning more like lavender, plummy, mauves, and I love that. Like, I like this color story a lot, and I would totally still pick this up again. Like, I think it's fun. I love all my Huda Beauty palettes that I have, and I know some people are on the fence about Huda Beauty's formula, but I like their formula. There are a few pressed glitters in here, which I don't mind. I like using a little sparkle in my eyes every now and then, but I know a lot of people don't. It does have this like concealer primer shade here, and surprisingly, it's still creamy. That is shocking. You would have thought it would dry it out by now, because I've had this for a while. I got this like when it launched, but I still love it. And the metallics in here are super sparkly and like foiled and just scrumptious. Oh yeah, look at that. So this is more my nudie style. Like, if I'm gonna use something nudie, I would totally like go to this palette. And I've used this recently because I do more like nudie natural looks when I go to work, because usually I don't have enough time to do something a little bit more complex like this because I wake up so last minute. So I still play with that. I still enjoy it, and I'm happy it's in my collection. I'd be sad without it. Then the next palette, this is from Kyla Beauty. They used to be Musée, but this is the Impressionism palette. It's a rainbow palette with a mixture of mattes and metallics. I'll show you guys up close. There is some nude shades in here, but overall it's pretty colorful. And in here, I think the mattes are stunning. Beautiful, blendable, pigmented, so buttery soft. They just go on the eyes like so nicely, and that's what I really love from here. Now the metallics are definitely more on the traditional metallic side. There's nothing special, there's no ships, there's no extra sparkle. They are smooth, but they're like a in-between metallic and a satin. Like, they're definitely more shine than the ones from like Nomad or Game Beauty, but they're not exactly what I go for. So really, I only reached for this palette for the matte. And for that reason alone, I don't think I would repurchase this if I didn't have it, because I do have a lot of rainbow palettes that have both really good mattes and really good metallics in them, like from Glamlight, from Unearthly. So I have that in my collection already, but since I have it now, I use this still because I really do enjoy the mattes, but I don't use half the palette. So it doesn't make sense to have a palette that you don't want to use like half the shades in it. So it wouldn't financially make sense to buy a product like that again if you're not going to use the whole thing, you know, if that makes any sense. So this is something I would pass on if I didn't have any more. Then this one right here from Colourpop. This is the All That palette. This is a very ready Valentine's Day palette, and I would totally repurchase this. And I do think they still sell this, because sometimes they discontinue palettes, but I think I saw this on their website the last time I was there. It's so beautiful. It's like my favorite little, more, I guess, darker red palette. This shimmer right here called Infatuation. It's like a more deeper red, but look at that. That is so stunning and romantic and Valentine's Day-ish. I love it. Now, it does have one pressed glitter. Like I said, don't mind pressed glitters. It has, you know, these other tones, these lighter pastels that are actually pretty pigmented. Like, look at that. Ooh, that would be a beautiful inner corner highlight. And I love a good red, and I love these shades, so I totally would get this again. It's more on the affordable side. Colourpop has sales all the time. Like, I would be sad without this, and I'm happy I pulled this out again. Now it's making me want to use this. I want to do like a smoky deep red look now with that shade. Ooh, yes, I need to use this again. This is beautiful. Then the last palette, number 10, is the Trending in Tokyo palette from Beach Cosmetics. And let's have a moment of silence for Beach Cosmetics. Because I saw like reviews on their new palettes and they were not good. They said the formula changed. Why did Makeup Revolution do that to BH Cosmetics? They had such a good thing going on. So I don't know if we'll ever get good BH palettes anymore, but I have a lot from them and I'm gonna cherish them with all my heart. But this is their very colorful, more neon-esque palette. And the funny thing is, I don't think I would repurchase this now, knowing how the formula is in this one, because the metallics are very satin. That seems to be the reoccurring theme. And these mattes are not as good as like the other travel palettes, like the Paris palette or like the Brunch collection. I feel like their mattes were more pigmented and blendable than these ones. They're a little bit more sheer, and I think because like some of these are more neon and like pastel-y, and they just don't, to me, have enough pigment. But it's still overall good. Like, it's affordable palette. I still think it was worth the money because it's like on the more, you know, cheaper end. And a lot of times BH Cosmetics had sales. So I think I might have got this palette for maybe $10. And to me, it's worth the $10. But I do have neons. I do have color in my collection already in other palettes that I love the formula even more. So I don't think I would be sad to not have this. But because this is like now relics, like they need to go in a museum because we might never have good BH palettes again. So I will still hold on to this, but I don't think I would necessarily be sad if I didn't have it anymore. Anyways, guys, that was all the palettes that I wanted to mention. I thought this was so fun. I'm actually surprised that there's this many palettes that I don't think I would repurchase. I guess because my collection has grown a lot and I've really narrowed down exactly what kind of formula I like, what kind of color stories I like, and now I'm more in that phase where I want my collection to be more curated and have like palettes that I just really, really love and can't be without. And these are like things from older days when I was feeling out formulas, trying to figure out what I liked and what I didn't. So there was a good amount that I'd be okay with letting go at this point. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video and found it interesting. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts in the comments below. Like, are there palettes that you can't live without? Are there palettes you're like, I could totally let this go? I would love to hear from you guys. And if you're new here and you enjoy this video and you like a lot of fun, colorful makeup content, you like a lot of stuff on eyeshadow palettes and indie makeup, then please hit that subscribe button and join this little family. I'd love to have you here. Also, don't forget to check out the description below. I will link all the palettes that are still available in case you're curious about them and want to look into them a little bit more. I will also link the makeup that I am wearing on my face and other videos that you might be interested in watching from me. I will also have my contact and my social media platforms. I'm also on Instagram as Breezy Lifestyle and Breezy_beauty, and I do a lot of different content there as well. So if you want to join my Instagram fam, I would really, really love that. But guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, for hanging out with me, spending a little time out of your day to just sit here and chill and watch one of my videos means so much to me. But I just hope you guys are all doing well wherever you are in the world, and I'm just sending you all so much light and love. But until next time, bye guys.